Shannon Sharpe, the charismatic sports icon we've watched and admired for decades, is now entangled in a scandal that's shaking Hollywood and the sports world alike. A $50 million lawsuit, allegations of sexual assault. In a media frenzy you wouldn't believe unless you saw it yourself. Oh, the drama doesn't end there. Some of your favorite celebrities are stepping forward and their reactions will leave you stunned. Before we dive into the explosive details and jaw-dropping reactions, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Shannon Sharpe now. We forgive you because we know you don't know how to work that technology. You was vibing with your little show last night. You were trying to film it. And when you tried to sit that down on that little dresser, that went live.
Shannon Sharpe, a name synonymous with excellence on the football field and unmatched charisma on our TV screens. But today, Sharpe is making headlines for a completely different reason. On April 20th, 2025, a 13-page civil complaint was filed against him in a Nevada court. The charges? Assault, battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. And the accuser? A woman who claims their 2-year consensual relationship turned abusive. While Sharpe vehemently denies these allegations, calling them a calculated extortion attempt, the lawsuit's details are nothing short of shocking. Text messages, alleged threats, and explosive accusations have come to light. And as the case unfolds, the reactions from Sharpe's peers in the entertainment and sports world are painting a picture filled with loyalty, criticism, and everything in between. Let's break it all down. It was just another day in the world of sports and entertainment until news of Shannon Sharpe's lawsuit erupted like wildfire.
Shannon Sharpe made a business decision that, you know what, I'm going to front and center my gay stylist, Hollywood Simpson. I'm going to front and center a gay stylist who has been connected to publicly with several former professional football players. Why do I call that a business decision? Because anyone familiar with how Hollywood and the entertainment industry works, anyone who has wet their finger and stuck it in the air and figured out how corporate culture works in America over the past decade, knew that the wind is blowing in the direction of everybody who calls themselves an ally of the LGBTQ.
According to the civil complaint, the allegations stem from a past relationship between Sharpe and a woman referred to as Jane Doe. She accuses him of abusive behavior, including threats, assault, and repeated instances of sexual misconduct. In his defense, Sharpe's legal team has dismissed these claims as baseless, even releasing text messages to support their narrative of an extortion plot. The texts, however, have added another layer of complexity, leaving the public divided. Is this a case of a malicious accusation or a troubling reality for one of sports media's brightest stars? Now take a look at celebrity reactions. First of all, Stephen A. Smith. When Stephen A. Smith first addressed the lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe, his approach was measured, cautious, and yet undeniably supportive. The sports commentator, known for his fiery opinions and unfiltered takes, seemed uncharacteristically subdued as he shared his thoughts. "I hope, sincerely hope, that Shannon is innocent of these allegations," he began, his voice a careful balance of worry and resolve. There was an unmistakable undercurrent of emotion in his words, a reflection of the deep respect and camaraderie he shares with Sharpe. Their relationship extends beyond mere professional ties. It's a bond forged through years of mutual support and collaboration.
You know, listen, like I said, none of us really know, and it would be really irresponsible to get into the minutia of it all because we just don't know. But in the end, when you see the details that both parties let out, it certainly seemed consensual to me. But, you know, I'm not the courts. I'm not whatever. So I can't really touch it because I'm certainly not trying to get sued.
Right.
But I will tell you that, again, you know, to see the great things that he has been doing and to know the potential is out there for all of this to be derailed. I'm incredibly sad for him. I'm sad for us as a show because we're better with him than without him. But right now, it's just about him getting his house in order.
Smith's initial comments revealed the internal conflict he faced, torn between standing by a close friend and acknowledging the gravity of the accusations. It wasn't just his words, but the way he delivered them, the pauses, the weight in his tone that conveyed his inner struggle. To many, it was a reminder that even public figures, often seen as detached commentators, are human and susceptible to the emotional toll of such controversies. However, Smith's narrative didn't end there. A week later, as the story continued to dominate headlines, he revisited the topic with a strikingly different tone. This time, his words carried an air of defiance and a hint of suspicion. "People have been after him since his Cat Williams interview went viral," he remarked. For those unfamiliar, the interview in question was a landmark moment for Sharpe, drawing an impressive 89 million views and cementing his place as a prominent voice in media. But with great success comes heightened scrutiny. Smith suggested that Sharpe's soaring popularity had inadvertently painted a target on his back. "Success paints a bullseye on your back," he concluded, his words resonating deeply with his audience. Fans and critics alike recognized the harsh reality behind his statement. In the world of fame and fortune, triumph often comes with a price. Smith's analysis not only defended Sharpe, but also shed light on the broader pressures faced by public figures. It wasn't just about the lawsuit. It was a commentary on the societal tendency to celebrate success while simultaneously waiting for the opportunity to tear it down. Charlemagne the God's Oye, Charlemagne the God, known for his no-holds-barred approach to controversial topics, didn't shy away from delivering a sharp critique regarding Shannon Sharpe's relationship with his accuser.
Is it true Donald Trump tried to give you money to endorse him one time?
I got a call, but they wanted me to, Sunday.
Oh, they wanted you to come yesterday.
Madison Square Garden?
This week.
They wanted
Oh
you
yeah,
to
because they
pop
wanted
out
you to perform Mini Men. They wanted you to perform Mini Men at the RNC too, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they was still offering me $3 million.
To perform?
At the RNC or this past Sunday?
Huh?
At
No, this past Sunday.
At $3 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then they offered you money for the Republican National Convention too, right?
He turned
How
it
much was
down?
that?
Yeah, I didn't even go far back. I've been talking to them about that kind of stuff. 'Cause I'm afraid of politics, bro. So you understand. I do not like
You know, that
No
gang,
part of politics.
no gangbang or politics.
no gangbang, no politics. You know, it's because when you do get involved in it, no matter how you feel, someone passionately disagrees with you.
That's everything, though. I mean, politics
No,
is worse, but
it's
that's
worse now.
everything.
But look, if you say, I stay away from religion, I stay away from politics.
As one of the most influential voices in the entertainment world, Charlemagne has never been one to sugarcoat his opinions, and his response to this situation was no different. During an episode of his popular podcast, Brilliant Idiots, he delved into the complex and sensitive issue of the age gap between Sharpe, a 56-year-old retired football legend, and the 19-year-old woman making the allegations against him. It's not illegal, but is it right? Charlemagne posed the rhetorical question, his voice carrying the weight of a much deeper moral inquiry. The sharpness in his tone was unmistakable, and the question he raised wasn't merely about the legal boundaries of the relationship. It was about the broader, often murky ethical implications of a powerful, wealthy, older man engaging in a romantic or intimate relationship with a much younger woman. For Charlemagne, it wasn't just about the legality of the situation, but the dynamics at play. How green is Shannon Sharpe? He's not a rookie, he quipped, challenging Sharpe's maturity and judgment. The comment hit hard, implying that for someone as seasoned and accomplished as Sharpe, he should have known it better than to engage in such a relationship. His words, though laced with sarcasm, were a sharp jab at the idea that Sharpe, with his extensive life experience, could be so naive or reckless. It was a subtle yet pointed critique that questioned Sharpe's character and decision-making, particularly when it came to managing personal relationships in the public eye. But Charlemagne's critique wasn't just about judging Sharpe. It was about sparking a much-needed conversation on power dynamics in relationships, especially when one party has fame, wealth, and influence over the other. It was a conversation that needed to happen, and although his words stung, they also forced listeners to take a deeper look at the nuances of such power imbalances and what they truly mean in terms of accountability and personal responsibility. His comments added fuel to the fire, leaving listeners with more questions than answers and, in many ways, forcing a critical examination of how society views these types of relationships. In a world where fame can often overshadow ethical concerns, Charlemagne's approach forced us all to consider what truly is acceptable in the eyes of the public, and whether we are holding powerful figures accountable in the right way. Stephen, in stark contrast to Charlemagne, the God's more critical approach, Stephen Jackson's response to the situation was grounded in empathy and solidarity. Known for his candidness and willingness to speak out on social issues, Jackson took a different route, one that encouraged understanding rather than judgment. "Don't kick a man when he's down," he urged, his voice heavy with compassion as he posted a heartfelt video on social media.
You're right. All you doing is writing a memoir to yourself.
Come on, man. Come on,
But
preacher.
hey, look at this. I got this out the mud. I came from the trenches.
Right.
And you got more hate in your heart with all that you got, that you've been blessed with so much, and all you do is hate on a man that you think better. How about get better? Create better content. What's disappointing to me, because there are people that do what you and I do, that had so much to say. And it's only because of jealousy. Because I guarantee you, if Cat was on their podcast and did exactly what he did on my podcast, they would have never said what they're saying. Oh, no, that was the decision that I had to make in a split second, Ocho. And what I always try to do is not talk over the guests. They come, okay, tell your side.
In a world quick to cast judgment, Jackson's message was one of support, calling for unity in the face of adversity. It wasn't just about defending Sharpe, it was about recognizing the humanity in all of us, regardless of our public status. His words were a reminder that everyone, no matter how successful or famous, faces personal struggles. "Every man has a wave to catch," Jackson continued, encouraging both fans and critics alike to remember that everyone has their own journey, filled with highs and lows. Jackson's sentiment was particularly poignant because it reminded his audience that the public figures they admire are also vulnerable to the pressures of life and the harsh spotlight that comes with fame. His message wasn't just directed at the situation at hand. It was a broader call for empathy, urging people to think twice before piling on negativity, especially when someone is already enduring a personal crisis. While Jackson chose empathy, Monique seized the moment with her characteristic boldness. The outspoken comedian and actress didn't hold back when the controversy surrounding Sharpe made headlines. Fans were quick to remember her February 2024 appearance on Sharpe's podcast, Club Shay Shay, where she had delivered some unsolicited relationship advice. Back then, she had warned Sharpe against dating younger women, cautioning him that it could lead to trouble down the line. In hindsight, her advice seemed prescient, and when the lawsuit surfaced, she didn't hesitate to publicly say, "I told you so." Monique's response was both a comedic and pointed reflection on the situation. During a stop on Cat Williams' Heaven on Earth comedy tour, she couldn't resist adding fuel to the fire. With her trademark humor, she quipped, "Leave the white women alone." The audience erupted with laughter, but the sharpness of her words wasn't lost on anyone. While she delivered it in jest, her comments added an extra layer to the ongoing discussion, hinting at deeper societal issues and power dynamics within relationships. Her "I told you so" moment may have been comedic, but it also underlined the complexities of relationships and personal choices, especially for public figures. Monique's words highlighted not just the particulars of Sharpe's case, but also the larger conversation about responsibility, accountability, and the way people, particularly celebrities, navigate their personal lives in a world that constantly scrutinizes them. Cam Newton, a former NFL star and longtime friend of Shannon Sharpe, approached the situation with a level of care and thoughtfulness that spoke to his personal connection with Sharpe. Newton, known for his charismatic presence both on and off the field, understood the weight of the allegations but also maintained a sense of hope for his friend's innocence.
Football heaven, we just can't know how the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Honestly, though, I wouldn't care. And not to disrespect the Hall of Fame and the people who are in it, my impact was felt. And that's all I wanted. From a kid from College Park, Georgia, by way of Atlanta, to have the impact that I had, where globally, I go anywhere and people say, "Man, he look like, man, what's the football?" Dad, we played in a masked sport. To be recognized without your helmet on, that tells you something, that you did something right. And let this be said too. I never had an incident with domestic violence. I never had a run-in with the law. I never had anything conduct detrimental where people would have.
In a measured response, he emphasized a fundamental principle: no means no. His words were clear and concise, acknowledging the seriousness of the accusations while reaffirming that respect for both parties, accuser and accused, is crucial. Newton's careful approach wasn't just about defending his friend blindly. It was about striking a delicate balance between loyalty and responsibility. He didn't shy away from the gravity of the situation, but also made it clear that, as with any legal matter, there was a need to respect the due process and ensure that all sides were heard. By stating no means no, Newton underscored the importance of consent and mutual respect in any relationship, no matter the circumstances. This wasn't just a platitude, it was an essential reminder of the values that should guide our understanding of such cases, no matter how public or high profile they may be. At the same time, Newton expressed a sense of hope for Sharpe's innocence. "I'm hoping he's innocent," he said, his voice tinged with concern, but also with an unwavering belief in his friend's character. It was a message that conveyed both empathy for the situation and a deep respect for the complexities involved. Newton understood that the truth could be nuanced, and that despite the allegations, Sharpe deserved a fair chance to defend himself. This balanced response highlighted Newton's maturity and ability to navigate sensitive situations. He didn't offer blind support or dismiss the gravity of the claims. Instead, he encouraged his audience to remain open-minded and patient. In doing so, Newton reminded everyone that, while accusations are serious and deserve attention, it is equally important to remember that, in the eyes of the law, one is innocent until proven guilty. His message was one of respect for both sides, a sentiment that resonated deeply with those who valued fairness and justice above all. As the lawsuit continues to unfold, it's clear that the emotional toll on everyone involved is immense. Sharpe's decision to step aside from his role on First Take speaks volumes about the personal impact of these allegations. Fans are left grappling with the duality of their hero, a man they've admired for his authenticity, now facing claims that challenge that very essence. Meanwhile, celebrities are navigating their responses, balancing loyalty with accountability. Shannon Sharpe's lawsuit is far more than just a fleeting headline. It's a poignant reminder of the challenges and complexities that come with fame, relationships, and accountability. At its core, this case isn't just about a former athlete facing legal troubles. It's about the intersection of personal choices, public scrutiny, and the intense pressure placed on individuals in the public eye. Whether Sharpe is ultimately vindicated or not, this situation will undoubtedly shape how we view his legacy, and, more importantly, spark an ongoing conversation about power dynamics and the responsibilities that come with being in the spotlight. For Sharpe, who spent decades building a career as both a football star and a media personality, the lawsuit represents a seismic shift. His image, once a pillar of success and confidence, is now clouded by accusations that, whether proven true or false, are impossible to ignore. The stakes are high, not just for him personally, but for anyone who has followed his journey from the football field to the broadcast booth. With every new development, Sharpe's career and public persona are put under a microscope, forcing fans, colleagues, and critics alike to re-examine the man they thought they knew. But this case isn't only about Sharpe. It serves as a larger reflection of the pressures that come with fame, especially when it comes to relationships and personal boundaries. Celebrities like Sharpe, who live their lives in front of the public, often face heightened scrutiny for their actions. Every decision, every interaction is analyzed, sometimes out of context and often with a magnified focus. In this case, the age gap between Sharpe and his accuser, the consensual nature of their relationship at the start, and the subsequent accusations all feed into a broader conversation about power and control in relationships, particularly for those in the public eye. Moreover, the dynamics of this lawsuit force us to confront the balance of responsibility. Who is accountable in situations like this? Is it the celebrity who should have known better, or the accuser whose story is being questioned? The situation leaves room for debate, as both sides have presented their arguments, leaving the public to form their own opinions. Sharpe's defense and the release of private text messages reveal the blurred lines of personal privacy versus public interest, adding to the complexity of the case. Whether Sharpe emerges victorious or is found guilty, one thing is certain. This lawsuit, will have lasting repercussions. It will not only influence his future, but also spark ongoing conversations about fame, consent, and accountability. It will also likely set a precedent for how future allegations involving high-profile figures are handled, especially as the public continues to wrestle with the implications of power dynamics in relationships. In the end, this case represents the difficult but necessary conversations about responsibility, integrity, and the cost of fame that will continue long after the legal proceedings are over. What's your take on this unfolding drama? Are the allegations credible, or is this a calculated attack on one of sports media's most influential figures? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this and other breaking stories. Together, let's uncover the truth.